So let's discuss now. Joining me now is Congressman Krishnamoorthi, a Democrat on the House Intel and Oversight Committees. Good evening. Interesting.
Good evening.
Doesn't sound like he's going to comply. I mean, the White House has stonewalled every attempt to force cooperation. So what are you going to do if Rudy Giuliani refuses to turn over those documents?
Well, I think we'll have to pursue different remedies potentially, including contempt, as well as other potential avenues. But I have to say that, Rudy Giuliani, when he talks about attorney-client privilege, doesn't mind breaking attorney-client privilege whenever he talks about his conversations with the president, especially about Ukraine, which he's done on TV several times.
Yeah. Well, he told ABC News that he would not testify if called, and then he said that it would be up to the president. How do you overcome executive privilege if it does come to that?
Well, executive privilege can never shield misconduct. And what's being alleged here in the complaint is basically a scheme of misconduct involving Rudy Giuliani and President Trump, where they tried to seek assistance from the Ukraine to interfere in our 2020 elections for the personal political gain of Donald Trump at the expense of our national security. And therefore, I don't think an assertion of executive privilege would shield that type of misconduct.
You know, in his many interviews, Giuliani talks in circles. He contradicts himself. He throws out all sorts of diversions and distractions. If he does come before the committee, how do you keep it from becoming a circus?
Well, it's basically one step at a time right now, Don. We've asked for his documents. We'll then talk to his associates and then decide whether to bring him in at that point. I'm not sure that Chairman Schiff has made a decision on that. I really want to defer to his good judgment on that. However, it is true that Rudy Giuliani likes to have a public forum for whatever he has to say.
CNN is reporting, Congressman, tonight that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was on that July 25th phone call between President Trump and the Ukrainian President Zelensky. That report seems to contradict what Pompeo told ABC News. This is just over a week ago. Watch this.
What do you know about those conversations?
So you just gave me a report about a high-seek whistleblower campaign, none of which I've seen.
It seemed like an artful dodge there, but he didn't need to read the report to know if he was on the call. Right. Do you think he straight up lied?
I don't know, but there is a press report today that Mr. Pompeo was on that call, and maybe even an associate of his. Acting Director of National Intelligence McGuire told me in my questioning that more than a dozen officials were on that call, and he thinks that they all took notes. We'll quickly know whether or not Pompeo was on that call, but if he was, I don't understand what he was doing just sitting there watching as the president was compromising our national security by trying to have another power interfere in our elections. And at the same time hurting a very vulnerable ally and trying to coerce them with withholding aid. Remember, the State Department in part administers aid to other countries, including the Ukraine, so Mr. Pompeo would know exactly why that aid was withheld in the days and weeks leading up to that phone call.
Adam Schiff, who is a House Intel chairman, confirming that the whistleblower is tentatively scheduled to testify before the committee as the president continues to attack and smear that individual. Watch this and then we'll discuss.
Mr. President, do you now know who the whistleblower is, sir?
Well, we're trying to find out about a whistleblower. When you have a whistleblower that reports things that were incorrect.
I mean, it really is just unbelievable. What is the House Intel doing to make sure that this whistleblower will not be put in danger by the president or by anyone else, as a matter of fact?
Thank you for asking that question. That's a top-of-mind concern for us on the Intelligence Committee. We have to protect this whistleblower, so we're trying to make arrangements with the Director of National Intelligence to be able to elicit his testimony in a way where he can remain anonymous. The Director of National Intelligence, Mr. McGuire, as I mentioned before, came before us last week, and he pledged that he would do everything to protect the whistleblower. That's extremely important, especially in the case of a president who has called him a political hack, has said that he and his associates are likened to spies, and you know, where he appears to want to retaliate against the whistleblower. So we need to talk to him ASAP, and at the same time we have to help protect his identity.
Congressman Krishnamoorthi, thank you for your time.